How's it going, everybody? Dr. J. Feldman here. For this video, I'm going to be talking about an honest conversation about the differences between performance enhancers like Adderall, like Modafinil, like nootropic supplements. Now, coming from a perspective of not only a medical professional, but also a consumer, someone who has tried, tested, gone through all of these things, graduated medical school, started a multi-million-dollar company, I host a top 100 business podcast, along several other things. So over the years, I've definitely biohacked productivity, keeping myself motivated, sharp, for more hours in the day than most people can say they have. Now, not to brag, but I just want to set that in perspective so that you know this is going to be coming from someone who has tried it, done it, and came up with the best solutions and alternatives, not only for myself, but for others. So let's stick into the episode and talk about some of these medications.
Let me ask you, what really makes a good doctor? If you're not happy, how are you supposed to help your patients?
So for the purpose of this YouTube video and to keep things short, I'm really going to be focusing on the three major performance enhancing drugs. And those are Adderall and other performance enhancing pharmaceutical drugs such as Vyvanse, Concerta, Ritalin. These are all variations of essentially the same chemical. They're all amphetamines. Now, moving on from that, we have Modafinil, and that looks something like this. These are tablets that come in several different dosages, and these are a little bit atypical. They're used for things like narcolepsy. They keep you up, they keep you awake, and they're often called, smart drugs, performance enhancers, nootropics. Definitely something that is worthy of consideration on this episode. And then number three is the more natural alternative, and that is nootropic supplements. These are things like Thesis, which is my preferred nootropic, and they contain vitamin and herbal supplements that actually help you stay focused for longer. Personally, I have tried and used a combination of all of these things, so I'm going to be reviewing them one by one, so you can get a better idea of what might be the best solution for you. And if you want to talk to your physician about trying one of these prescription medications, such as Adderall or such as Modafinil, you can then go ahead and have that conversation with your doctor. Okay, starting with some of the biggest differences and the biggest points for consideration are, one, how mild do you want it to be? How do you want to take a prescription drug for the rest of your life, or at least while you are in high performance mode? If you're okay with that thought, and you're willing to sacrifice some potential long-term side effects or adverse effects, and a lot of these we probably don't know about yet. There's a lot of controversy and debate in that field, especially amongst physicians and researchers, but the fact is, if you're gonna alter your brain chemistry every day for a long period of time, chances are you're going to be dealing with some long-term effects. Those aren't well documented right now. It's hard to say that it's 100% certain, but that's just a fact of life. I deal with it. I anticipate that by taking Adderall daily or even multiple times per week for long periods of time, you're going to deal with some long-term effects. Some of the proposed long-term effects are early dementia, short-term memory loss, effects on the cardiovascular system. So just know, if you're going to go with the Adderall route, the prescription medication like Adderall, Vyvanse, Concerta, Ritalin, these are all the same family, you're probably going to have to face that fact sooner or later. However, with the higher chance of side effects, you're also going to obviously have a stronger working medication. There is nothing on the nootropic market that is going to replace the feeling that Adderall gives you. It is, again, like one chemical deviation away from methamphetamine. This is a drug. This is a legal drug, and you will feel as such. When you take Adderall or Vyvanse, you'll know exactly what I mean. You get a big rush of dopamine, happiness, it feels good, you crave it again. Those are the hallmarks of an addictive substance. So keep that in mind as you're considering Adderall. When I say Adderall, obviously I mean all of these substances that are in that family that I just mentioned. So with Adderall, yes, you're going to have the increased chance of long-term effects as well as short-term effects like appetite suppression, short-term memory loss, lack of sleep. But you're going to be getting a stronger and happier immediate effect, and it's going to keep you focused longer. Now, the thing with Adderall is it doesn't necessarily increase your focus. You're not gonna necessarily perform better on an exam because you're smarter when you're on Adderall. What it does is it increases your alertness. Alertness, not focus. So if you're trying to do something boring, like sit through your high school class or a middle school class, that's why they do very well on these things, because it helps increase their alertness when they're doing something very unengaging that makes them want to fall asleep. Again, with the amphetamines, such as Adderall and Vyvanse, it'll help you stay alert longer. You can take an extended release, and this will last you 10 to 12 hours a day. It is relatively safe for daily use. Again, we don't fully know the long-term effects, but I anticipate that they're there. There's a lot of short-term effects as well. This is an addictive substance, more so than the other ones that I'm going to go over, but it is definitely a good alternative for people who are having trouble and struggling to go about their day-to-day life. If you are falling asleep in your job and unable to perform well, if you're going to school and unable to do your homework or pay attention in class, I think, and this is my opinion, this is not a medical opinion, that I would rather deal with some of these long-term effects down the road, like short-term memory loss, if it means living a happier and more productive life by being more successful in school, being more successful in work. Some people need this crutch to get through some of these hardships that life throws at you. And in more cases, I'm seeing that younger people, middle school, elementary school, are having trouble focusing because of overstimulation. That's a whole other conversation for another video. Be sure to subscribe. Okay, let's move on from Adderall. I hope I got those out of the way. If you have any questions about Adderall, please drop them in the comments. Let's talk about the next one on the list, which is Modafinil. There's lots of subvariations of this, Modafinil, Adrafinil. Now, this is something that is prescribed for people with sleep disorders. It does not keep you alert, it keeps you awake. So again, not like focus, it keeps you awake. It can even keep you awake safely for up to 72 hours. So Modafinil, they come in these little tablets, about 200 milligrams, which is a lot of it. It's something that I recommend trying, and this is personal advice, not medical advice. If you are hooked on Adderall and you want to start taking breaks from it that don't think you can function in day-to-day life, this might be something to talk to your doctor about substituting or adding as an alternative. I don't think it's healthy to be taking amphetamines every day. If you can do 1 week on, 1 week off, that's better than every day. And Modafinil is, I would say, the next strongest thing that's going to make you feel awake, alert, focused, that is not an amphetamine. Now, this drug, again, we don't fully understand the mechanism of how it works. Adderall, we understand very clearly. You get a hit of dopamine, you get a hit of noradrenaline, epinephrine, so you're able to be energized and focused for longer. Modafinil doesn't work quite like that. It's atypical. And with that, we don't really know what the long-term effects are going to be. Short-term effects, obviously you're going to be awake, so it might impact your sleep. A lot of people experience nausea as well, and I actually experience this when I take Modafinil. So adjust your dosage, anticipate for that, but just something to keep in mind. If you are looking for an actual alternative to Adderall and you want to get off, you want to lower your dosage, you want to take breaks, this is something you should speak to your physician about considering. It is relatively safe, in my opinion, safer than amphetamines and more mild. You won't get that initial high that you get with the amphetamines. So for that reason, a lot of people don't count it as a true substitute, but in my opinion, it's closer than nootropics, which is herbal supplements. Modafinil is also a prescription medication. You'll have to speak to your doctor, get a prescription for this, and again, be careful with it. It's not an herbal supplement, it's not a vitamin. It is something that you can abuse and can be dangerous with long-term use and high dosages. All right, I hope that was helpful on Modafinil. Again, drop something in the comments if you have specific questions. Next is nootropics. My preferred is Thesis. You can go check out the link in the show notes to purchase this product. I've been through lots of different nootropics. A lot of them are relatively similar. Some work better than others. For me, it's about quality of ingredients, and Thesis has a good one. They also have kind of multiple different variations, so that you can, and they say energy, clarity, focus, as if it's going to give you that desired effect. Not so much. They just have small variations in formulations, and that for me is because we're not all alike. Some will work for some people, some will work for other people. So I would suggest trying each one of their blends to see which works for you. But the principle behind nootropics is it uses the best knowledge that we have of vitamin and herbal supplements, which are generally considered safer than pharmaceutical supplements, smaller potential for abuse, smaller potential for long-term side effects, and it takes that research and combination of herbals and puts them into a formulation to give you increased brain power, increased focus, increased alertness, and ideally increased ability of your brain to process, so cognitive function. They all have relatively similar blends, plus or minus a few key ingredients. Caffeine is the most popular nootropic on earth. It should be present in most nootropics that you take. Lion's mane is one that's present in this. That's a mushroom that aids in cognition. It does have some research on it. I do take that every day. A lot L-theanine with the caffeine helps you focus for longer. And each of these has several different blends of nootropics that have been known to work, including some herbals and flowers that are less studied but worth a shot to take. There's a lot of herbals and vitamins out there that have been proven to increase cognition. Even smelling rosemary during an exam can help you focus and help your short-term memory. So don't count it out just because it's not a prescription medication. Nootropics do work. I do take them every day relatively safely. I take them after lunch just to give me a little bit of a caffeine boost and increase my brain processing power, because everybody's brain gets a little sleepy after lunch. Okay guys, if it was up to me, I would tell you to stay away from amphetamines because they are an addictive substance, but if you need them to get through day-to-day life, through school, through work, talk to your physician, have that conversation. Decide if that trade-off is going to be good for you. If you are addicted to amphetamines already and want to start cutting back, talk to your physician about modafinil. I do believe it's a safer alternative. That's my personal opinion, not medical advice. And if you're just starting kind of this journey, or you're trying to get back off of the amphetamines or the modafinil, I do think nootropics are a great option for you. They are good for brain health. They're herbals, they're vitamins. They're probably not going to do a lot of long-term harm. But again, a lot of this stuff is still very early, needs to be studied, so I don't want to say anything conclusively. Anytime you're taking any drug, medication, herbal, or vitamin supplement, please talk to your physician. I am not your physician. I don't know what you're dealing with in terms of chronic illness, in terms of substance abuse, what else you are taking. So please don't take my word for it. Please make sure to have that conversation with your physician. And if you love this content, if you have any questions about anything that I spoke about and want to dig a little bit deeper, shoot me a message on social media. The link is in the description if you want to try Thesis. Also be sure to head into the description and click on that link, and I'll save you some money with my code. All right, please like this video for the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.